Okay, here's a few more examples of graphing that I would like to do with you. If you have a substitute, they should have passed this sheet out to you. If for some reason you were sent to DLT, it is linked on Google Classroom and you can just take them down in your notes and just use tick marks for your graph, or there is piles outside of room 241 if you would like to pause the video and see if the DLT teacher will let you go and grab one. So as I do these 4 examples, I am going to follow the method that we had done in class. So I'm going to call this method 1. And so this is just following the day 2 notes. And that's where I did them a little bit more mathematically. Then on 1 or 2 of the examples, I'll just talk briefly on what I would call method 2. And that is if you want to just graph the parent function first, like we did on the day 1 notes, and then translate that as a complete second graph, that's an option. And again, for 1 or 2 of them, I will talk about what I could call method 3, and that is just translating first and basically creating a new origin point. And that's where you can then graph from there as you would have with the parent translated table. The one thing you will notice as I do these examples, a few of them have a different translation than what the interval will be. So I want to talk through that as well. And then once we're done with these notes, then what I would like you to do is post it on Classroom. But in general, real quick, it is quick quiz 7 on Delta Math. And then you're going to do 2 and 3 from the homework sheet that we cut out on Friday. All right, so here we are with number 1. First thing I'm going to state is the amplitude. Remember, the amplitude is the absolute value of A, so that is just going to be 1/2. So your graph is going to go up 1/2 and down 1/2 from our baseline. And then we're going to take our B value, and that's going to help us to find our period length. That was called our frequency. So our period length is going to be 2 pi divided by that B value. Then we're going to talk about our intervals. Sometimes we call that our scale, but it's the distance between our points. We're going to take the period length and divide by 4, which is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So 2 pi over 3 times 1/4 would be 2 pi over 12 or pi over 6. Now we're quick sometimes to come right down here and label this. Pi over 6, so 30 degrees, pi over 3, so 60 degrees, pi over 2, so 90 degrees, and then 2 pi over 3. However, moving forward, you might want to think about your translations first to make sure that the scale matches your interval, or how easy it will be if you were to have to shift and it's not the same as the scale. So this here is our H value because it says X minus. It's saying we're going to move right pi over 6. And so that actually works well if my scale is pi over 6. And then this is my K value, which means we're going to be up 2. And what might be helpful is if we draw in that axis of our wave at y is equal to 2. Okay, so from there, the way we did it in the notes is we think because this is a sine curve that we're starting at 0, 0. Then we do our dilation. Our dilation comes from multiplying the y value by whatever a is. So in this case, I'm going to multiply 0 by negative 1/2. So I'm at 0, 0. Then we do our translation. Our translation said that we were going to go right pi over 6. So 0 plus pi over 6 is pi over 6. And up 2, so 0 plus 2 is 2. And that's going to be our starting point. So I'm going to go to pi over 6 and 2 as my starting point. And then this is a negative sine curve. So it's important to remember that that starts at that point and then decreases to the minimum before it heads back up. Our amplitude being 1/2. So we're going to go right pi over 6 because that's our interval, and down 1/2. Back to our baseline, up 1/2, back to our baseline. And then I will sketch the curve from there. Don't forget you want to label your points. So you can actually do that right from the start. If you're starting at pi over 6 and you add pi over 6 each time, pi over 6 plus pi over 6, or 30 plus 30 is 60, plus another 30 is 90, plus another 30 is 120, plus another 30 is 150. So that's 5 pi over 6. Okay, and you can get that by getting common denominators if you needed to as well. And then our y coordinates are 2, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 2. And remember, I am looking for this and your graph as your work. That, of course, again, being method 1. If I was to quickly, just for those that would prefer, describe method 2 and method 3, I'll just use the graph over here to do it. Method 1 would be just to pay attention to your amplitude and your period length or your intervals. And so if my intervals are the pi over 6, I won't relabel them. And this is negative sign. I would have started at 0, 0 and headed down. And then this would be my parent curve. So this is how we did it on the day 1 notes. And then what we would need to do, I'll do it in a different color, we would need to translate that right pi over 6 and then up 2. So I would take each point and move right pi over 6 and then up 2. So there's my first point, right pi over 6 and then up 2 would be my second point, and then keep going from there. So right pi over 6 up 2, right pi over 6 up 2, right pi over 6 up 2. So that would be a second way that you could do that. And then I'm just going to erase that real quick and then say what the third way is. So the third way is, this is your origin point. You could think about your translations first. So right pi over 6 up 2. Put that point there as your new origin. It's not really even a point. I probably shouldn't even say that. But pretend that that's your new origin. And then if that's your new origin, and you just make sure you're careful with your scale. And now that I'm looking at that, I went too far. Right pi over 6 is just 1 to the right and up 2. That's your new origin. And then you can graph accordingly, just like we did on day 1. So sine always starts at the origin. And then we're going down half, back to the baseline, up half, back to the baseline. So that would be a third way you could do it if you didn't want to do it mathematically this way. Okay, so now on to number 2. Again, I'm going to start with our amplitude. So our amplitude is 3. Our frequency, pi over 4. So we get our period length by doing 2 pi divided by 4. Don't forget you're multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to get 8. And then our intervals, or our quarters, we're going to divide that by 4. So we're going to get intervals of 2. So we're probably quick to label our scale by 2, but what I want you to start thinking about is your transformations. It says that I'm going to go left 1 and down 1. And so if I'm going to start at the origin point, let's say, and go left 1, I can't go left 1 box. I'd have to go left a half box because I have to remember that the scale is 2. And that's perfectly fine if you do it that way, not a problem. But I'm going to start thinking about, if my interval does not match my transformation, specifically if my transformation is smaller, I might make my intervals that smaller value just to make it easier to graph. But I have to be really careful that I keep my intervals or my points 2 points away from each other, or 2 units away from each other. So this is cosine. Cosine, we always think start at 0, 1. And then I'm going to multiply by my a value. That's called my dilation, which puts me up at 0, 3. And then I'm going to translate. I'm translating left 1, down 1, which is going to put me at the point -1, 2. So -1, 2 would be here for me, since I did a scale of 1. If you did a scale of 2, just be careful where your box is. And I might want to add in my axis of my wave. And when I do that, I can see that my amplitude is 3 as I had anticipated. And then this is a positive cosine curve, which starts up at the max before it heads down to the min. So I'm going to make sure I'm going down to the baseline, but a distance of 2 away, down to the minimum, but a distance of 2 away, etc. And there's what my curve is going to look like. And similar to what I did on number 1, I can actually get my points first, at least my x coordinates of my points. If I know my starting point is at -1, 2, and I'm every 2 units away, so -1 plus 2 would put me at 1, plus 2 would put me at 3, plus 2 would put me at 5, plus 2 would put me at 7. And then I'm alternating to that baseline, so I'm -1, down to the min, which would be -4, back to the baseline, and back to the max. Oh, and that max is being 2. So there's the points that I would want to see. One more time on this one. I won't do it for the other two. If you want to do the parent function first, again, you've got to watch your scale. The parent function would have started up at 0.3, which is the maximum. And then I'm just going to stick with scale 1. I'm going to alternate every 2 units because I did scale 1. That's my parent curve. And then I can translate that. We said it went left 1, down 1. So I take each point and go left 1, down 1. And then I can graph the rest from there. So that would be what I would consider method 2. And for those that can just think about where's that new origin point, again, just be careful you pay attention to your scale first. If you move left 1, down 1, you can think of this as your new origin point and then think, okay, cosine positive starts up 3 and then alternates from there. Just again, be careful how far your points need to be away from each other. Okay, so on to number 3. Number 3 actually happens to be the example we skipped on the day 2 notes. First thing I have to do is I have to make sure I add the 2 to the other side. I also notice that I have to factor out the 1/4 because I don't have a coefficient of 1. So remember that means you're going to divide each term by 1/4 to get that out in front. So y is going to equal 2 sine 1/4. When I divide by 1/4, I'm going to get x. When I divide by 1/4, I'm going to get 3. And then I have this plus 2 that I moved to the other side. You can do a quick distribute back to make sure that that is the case, that you didn't incorrectly distribute or factor out. So my amplitude is 2. My period length, 2 pi divided by 1/4 is going to be 8 pi. And then my intervals, when I cut that into quarters, is going to be 2 pi. Oh, and I'm noticing a typo there. Your sheet actually said 3 pi over 4, so it would actually be 3 pi. All right, and my transformations, I'm going to go right 3 pi and up 2. So notice my intervals are every 2 pi, but I want to move right 3 pi to start. So similar to the last example, I don't know that I want to make my intervals 2 pi. If I did, and I got to start right 3 pi, just make sure you know you're starting at 1.5 boxes. So to prevent that mistake, I think I'm just going to make my scale pi. So pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, etc. So this is sine, starts at 0, 0. I'm going to dilate, multiply your y by your a value. It's still 0, 0. And then translate. Right 3 pi over, 3 pi to the right, and then up 2 would tell me that my first point is at 3 pi, comma 2. So that's here, my k value being up 2. And then I am positive sign, so I start at that that origin point or the new point I just translated, and I go up to the max first. Every 2 pi units, so every 2 lines. So 2 pi with an amplitude of 2 over 2 pi more down to the min, and over 2 pi more back to the baseline. So I will get 3 pi, and then 5 pi, 7 pi, 9 pi, and 11 pi, and then my y coordinates up to 4, back to 2, down to 0, and back up to 2. And again, no need to change the scale. I just think it's easier when it's something that I can shift on without worrying about if I'm a fraction of a box. And last but not least, y equals -3 cosine half theta minus pi over 4. Remember, theta is the same thing as x. So our amplitude is 3. And then our period length, 2 pi divided by half. So that's going to be 4 pi. Our intervals, when I divide by 4, is going to be pi. And I'm moving right pi over 4. So be careful, if you make your scale pi, you're going to move right 1/4 of a box, which is really hard to graph. So you might want to make your scale pi over 4 or even pi over 2 to get half boxes. So I'm going to say pi over 4. So it'll be 45, 90, 135, and then 180. So every 4 lines is a pi. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is 2 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 3 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 4 pi units to get me my whole period length or so. Excuse me. And then cosine starts at 0, 1. Do your dilation, so multiply by -3, which puts me down at 0, -3, and then your translation. And I'm moving right pi over 4. There's no k value. K is 0, so I'm still on the origin. So it's pi over 4, comma 0. So that would put me right here. So every pi units, every 4 lines is how far apart my points need to be. And it's cosine. So, oops, actually, let me fix that. I dropped my -3 there. So I shouldn't be starting on the baseline. I should be starting when I translate at pi over 4, -3. Negative cosine, remember, starts down at the min. That's why it's important to pay attention to your initial graph and what it should look like. Okay, so now every 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the baseline, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to the max, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the baseline, 1, 2, 3, and one more, back to the min. Now this one's a little bit harder, so you might have to do some fraction work to get your points. But here's pi over 4, -3. The next one is pi away. So if you're adding pi, get a common denominator, you'll get 5 pi over 4. Add 4 pi to that, 4 pi over 4 to that, so 9 pi over 4. Another 4 pi would be 13 pi over 4. And lastly, 17 pi over 4. I'm at -3 to my baseline, +3 to my baseline, and then back down to -3. Okay, from here, just follow the directions on Classroom. Again, you're going to do quick quiz 7, and then you're going to just do numbers 2 and 3 on the homework from last class. After that, you can use any time remaining left to work on the optional take-home, which is due on Thursday if you're choosing to do it. Have a great rest of your day.